Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. Today we're going to talk about Pillage and the new prizes we got, which was sort of surprise. Well, a lot of people projected that they would drop today, and there's some issues. Well, I don't know. We'll discuss that. And then the new limited weapon that's dropped. There's quite a few things to talk about today. So let's get start. Well, we'll get started in a minute. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fine. How are you and everybody else?
Doing pretty good. And Pegleg.
Doing well, actually, for once.
Well, glad to hear it. Alrighty. Yeah, seems to have been playing. Yeah, guess. No, I think this 10-year. Well, we'll get to the 10-year anniversary. I think it's when they consider the game official, and you could actually buy gold. That's the conclusion I came to. Liga, what is your user ID? Because I know I've been playing much longer than 10 years, but let's get moving. Um, Ship footprints were not visible when moving buildings and traps. Okay, that's useful thing to do. I didn't really notice it, but it might have been a short-term thing that comes and goes. I'm still annoyed by the fact that in the shipyard, the search function, after you use it once, you need to refresh the tab in order to search in anything besides the name of a special or weapon, or any sort
Yeah.
of technology. After you do it once, you need to refresh the whole thing, because kept on running to that today, trying to figure out. I'll show you in a little bit, but yeah, that was really highly annoying. But somehow today is considered the 10th anniversary of Battle Pirates, which is, um, you know, I really need to see the original form birth certificate to.
Seems like that's a little bit low.
It is low, and why is I
It's
have no.
also National Beer Day, so
Okay,
happy. Here, cheers.
cheers to everybody. So we got some gifts. Let's one click. All right. Everybody in the game got this. For the 10th anniversary, we got the Industrial Reclaimer, plus a full fleet, um, and a single 5-day structure build token. So don't, if you're out of build tokens and you got a day left, don't use it. Personally, I might wait till this whole prize thing. This is going to run for, I think, for a week or 2 weeks, somewhere around there. I might wait till I think about using this in case we get a token that is structure specific. Um, if we get X number of days for a portal upgrade or a dock upgrade or something like that, something that you might want to use, um, I might save this and figure out everything you have to potentially use, and don't use something as generic as this when that specific thing might be, especially if it's like tier lock too, that you might want to use this instead of save this and use that beforehand. So I might hold on to this. Heck, I might hold on until the next OP and figure out if we have to upgrade our shipyards. So yeah, who knows? And a full warehouses of resources. Thanks for playing. Grab your free gifts now. Okay, here's where the semi-controversial part starts. Um, One more click. All right. For players that are already, this is a question answered to Derpy. For players that already spent gold on reclaimer builds and upgrades were offered, the Ravager offers, so they will still got a freebie gift since they wouldn't get anything from the main gifts. So the assumption that Drake is jumping to here is that the reclaimer, if you spend any gold on the reclaimer build or upgrades, that the free fleet would be of no use to you. Um, and I was going back and forth in the pre-show figuring out if we would discuss this, but if well, let's finish it. Let's finish it out, so you can see what happened, before we discuss some sort of potential middle ground that would make more people happy. One more click, Mike. All right. So one of the prizes was 4 one-day Ravager tokens. That's the next haul that we're going to win in the next raid, in the next assault cycle. 4 exterminator build tokens one day, the most recent Conqueror haul, and 2 generic ship build tokens, which if you were already filled to 2,
Get overfilled.
it overfilled. But the thing that I would recommend to people, unless you have something you want to spend them on, if you want to spend them on, if you're already at 4 out of 2, you can earn another. Well, let me see. You can earn another 2 in this current FM. But if you don't have anything to spend them on, I mean, you could spend them on there's exterminator, extra exterminators in Pillage and things like that. But if you're or maybe you're still working on building your reclaimers, if you feel like you just spend it to spend it, you're taking away those 2 extra build tokens from the prize the new haul that you're going to get in the next raid, the Ravager. So you might want to save those extra 2, so you'll be ahead by 2 ship build tokens if you feel like you're just spending them to spend them, because you're basically going to lose 2 tokens in regards to VXP weekend that's going to occur after the raid.
And if you were at 4 over 2, in order to open up the chest and bring these other ends, you'd have to spend down not just those 2, but more to create room. So I'm in that boat right now. I'm like, okay, well, I don't desperately need to do a whole lot here. Most of my stuff is built. I'm building some PvP stuff on the side, but I don't have to rush it. So,
but
I'd rather hold them.
2 is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you'll be back to 2, so you'd be sort of losing 2. Yeah, you could spend 4, but you would be back to 2, and therefore down 2 relative to the next building phase for the Ravager.
Yes, relative to, correct.
Yes. And the next one. All right. It says you get 4 Ravager build tokens and 200 Ravager upgrade kits. From what I can tell, this is 4 Ravager upgrade tokens. So for those that got the offer, what did we figure out? You're going to have combined everything with all the FM hold savings that you've been doing, hopefully for the last 2 weeks. The week after the raid, FM, I'm just saying prior to VXP weekend, you're going to end up with a little over 20 build tokens and 4 upgrade tokens. So you should be in and along with, if you claim the Ravager on the first day, you're going to end up with another. I can't remember when I did the math in my head, if I included that as well. I don't think I did, but you're going to end up with another 7 days of raw, just slow build time. More than 7 days. You're going to end up with like 10 days, because the raid starts on a Wednesday, and the following Friday is when VXP weekend starts. So you can end up with a much more developed fleet than you had last time. So I would consider that when you think about your builds. And, because you might already have engines on them, or it might give you a better chance to understand the target a little bit better.
Yep.
So, okay, are we done with that? Nobody seems too upset in chat, so let's go on.
Okay.
Oops, one more click.
Oh.
There we go. I don't know how that happened. So
I was looking at my tube and I didn't even see it, to be honest.
That had to be in there for Derpy.
I'm going to have to go
yeah, that's it was supposed to be covered up. I was going to use that on Friday. It was the next it was the next version of Tyra Banks for him.
back click to see what I missed.
No. It's supposed to be secret.
Okay.
You can look at it later.
I will.
All right. Right now we are in Pillage. We have Siegebreaker as well, which I recommend doing. This is for, well, we have a slide on that next, so I'll hold off on that one. But if your Return to Honor is also going on this week, the next pillage, not this current pillage, but the next pillage is going to involve Ronins and I assume Everest. But the Return to Honor has 8 build tokens for your Ronins and 5 upgrade tokens. So it might be worth doing if you are not at X1 and have fully built Ronin. So this would be a good one to do if you're in that situation, because next month you will be using them in Pillage. So, all right. And then we have the raid next week, along with the Harlock's Vanguard TLC, which is a way to get points with with siege with different classes of ships. And then Hold the Line. I forget what's Hold the Line. Does anybody remember?
It seems like it's a base defender.
Yeah, I forget which one. All right, and then the new Forsaken Mission, VXP Weekend, Titan Rising, which is for Titans, Shadow and Flame. Oh, that's the Hell, whatever. Another PvP one. Bounty, High Ground for your Everest. Just build tokens, and then another Mega TLC. We've been getting a lot of Mega TLCs. Yes, June Pillage, April. Well, we could get May 1st. May and June for Ronin. So yes. So we assume, based on the calendar and what's been displayed so far for the April calendar, we expect the following week after this April 25th through May 1st is the expectations the following week would be Pillage combined with the TLC for the Ravager, which is again the assault hall that's coming next week in the raid. So, any thoughts on the calendar?
That Hold the Line one, actually, the more I think about it, I'm pretty sure that's the Gatekeeper one.
Oh, is it?
I think it is.
Okay, but the Gatekeeper one, doesn't the Gatekeeper one also have piranhas?
Yes. You would ask me that.
I think I mean, the one that has the Gatekeeper, I think also has piranhas in it.
I'll look while the show's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else on the calendar, let's move on. All right, Siegebreaker. Like I said, we have 8 build tokens, 5 upgrade tokens, all the tech you need. This is pretty much the same thing for the Honor one, for the Ronins. But yeah, if you're not at X1, there's really no reason to get the VXP because of the free fleet everybody got. So that's no longer useful because it doesn't get one ship upgraded, but all the ships, all the free ships you got as a gift are maxed. They're scald 75%, 25 whatever numbers they use. The thing of interest might be is that the free fleet only has 2 armors instead of 4, so these build tokens might come in handy to fully armor your ship. So, and also they have 2 MDS3s on every ship, which isn't that useful. And okay, you sent me this. So this is for the It's Defender stuff, but it isn't. You
It
want
isn't
to?
Hulls, it's Defender. Yeah, that's what the most recent was.
Okay. Yeah, they stay the same. So um, it's mostly 2 times. Does this have the way this is written? Does this have the defense platform upgrade tokens?
Yeah, that got cut off, I think, when I clicked
Okay.
over. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, okay.
3 days worth of them.
Yeah, or three
There.
2 day or
It's 1x 3-day build token
times
You
three.
can- times however many mastery pack. Yeah, 3 times.
Okay. Okay. So I would recommend doing, just if you don't have all your turrets maxed out.
Yep, darn handy.
Yep. So especially if you're putting the power transformers on, because that's required to max out your turrets. So let's move on. All right. I just wanted to go through the components and where they're coming from for the Ravager, which again comes out next week. Right now we're in Pillage, where we have the Reforged Power Core, which is the engine, which we have a slide on, which I thought it was going to be the Zinth bolstered bow, a bow. Maybe it's bow now. I don't know I guess this is a defensive special. I don't know. And we also have the Bloodletter scattergun, which we have quite a bit on because it's introducing an old mechanic, and then in the raid we get the Spleen Blaster scattergun versus the Bloodletter. It feels like once we get into that, remember the Spleen Blaster, it sounds like a much more violent, immediate impact weapon. It may not be. It just could be the way they name things. And you saw the way the last week or two, I screwed up assuming the Zinth bolstered bow was an engine, because the bow of the ship, and maybe that's streamlining it. No, that's not the case.
I think the tip off is Zintium as used for armor and so forth. So I think it's probably a defensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, but before we saw the power core, I don't know. I thought it might have been an engine. So we have the chaff splitter system, which I'm assuming this is going to be multi-shot and countermeasure boost.
I think it's a fair assumption.
And then acid diffusion shells. I'm assuming it's going to contain corrosive damage bonuses and supercharge, but we will see.
Yeah, some kind of damage buff enhancer in some way. That's all I would figure. But yeah.
Well, I'm assuming it's got to have super. I'm assuming it's got supercharge in it. Maybe. Well, we'll see. I'm assuming it's going to be an upgrade on Scatter System 3 or 2. I think this will basically be Scatter System 3, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we got. All right, Pillage. Next slide.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, shut it down and go back to the slides. You've gone all the way to like slide 500.
For some reason.
Yeah, you've gone all the way to like slide 500.
Yeah.
That was like Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is like the last slide I have. So yeah,
It was a finger placement problem.
Yeah.
Technical finger issues.
Slide 7. Okay. All right. Add you back. All right. We have the same targets that we had last month.
Screen.
What?
Kick it to full screen too, probably.
Yeah. Put it on present.
Presenting? Oh.
All right. There we go. We have the same targets that we had last month for the Photon and the Everest. And as I mentioned earlier, the Ronin is going to replace it's going to be the skirmish ship. It's going to replace the Photon in the assault category. And we'll still have the Everest. And then I've never really hit the B targets. I mean, the 145, most people were getting done for instant on the water, And then the Everest, depending on your level of upgrade, your number of avalanche mortars, um, it's very close, if not, if not incident in the base.
Yeah,
So
I
this,
did one before the show, and it was 4 minutes 37 seconds on each ship. So
okay,
in the base,
That was driving, right,
22
Mike?
minutes, something like that.
yeah, yeah,
That's driving.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
auto isn't going to get that kind of number, but
Uh,
yeah. Otto's getting what, somewhere in the 40s.
I think I was getting before. It was like 42 minutes, 43 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
We could try one if you want, but
the AI does not make smart decisions on that target.
Okay. I don't know. Does anybody in chat want to, let us know? We can do it later on to run through these targets. But if you've been watching the show before, we've run through them.
quite a bit.
So, but we can do that if anybody wants. And so you're basically getting 20,000 as the set for doing a set of the S targets.
Mhm.
So just keep that in mind as far as the units. I mean, again, they don't take that long. I hit two of each. I'm already tired of after hitting two, I'm already tired of the 145. But whatever.
Yeah, that is.
And I forgot. What are people getting on the as far as autoing the 145, or is that even? I don't remember trying to auto the 145. I drove it last time, but I'm bored with it at this point.
I never tried that, but you're going to take a whole lot of corrosive damage, I think, with that thing if you try to auto it. And that sub just your butt.
Okay, Christopher's getting 42 in the 138s. Yeah, can you auto the 145? I don't know. I've never tried. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm sure you can, but I don't think you're going to like it.
Yeah. Not advised.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, I'm already bored with them.
Yeah.
Christopher's getting 42 minutes. I thought it was in the 40s, yeah, with X1 Everest.
Yeah,
what we saw last month was on the X1 Everest, if you were, it was getting about the same time, a minute or two different. Then I was at 3U3, 2U2. I was getting about a minute or two different, but it was happening much faster.
Yeah, I thought we decided that it was just a little faster to hit the target.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a big difference in damage.
Yeah. So that would be our expectation there. And let's move on to, okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's the...
Okay. On auto or driving? I mean, it could go either way. Because I got about 4 to 5 minutes on the 145s and 20 to 25 on the 138s. But I'm driving on those on that occasion. The store, the main thing is we have the 2-day structure build tokens, the exterminator, and then those are sort of side prizes. We have the reforged power core. So you can get 5 of those. Those are the new engines. I would definitely encourage everybody to pick those up. And the bloodletter scattergun, as opposed to the spleen blaster, but you can claim 10 of these. You'll be able to claim another 10 in the raid. Then there'll be a TLC, which looks like it's going to happen the same week as Pillage. So during that week, you should be able to claim 20 and get your lot of 40 of them, which is the general amount for the limited weapons. But the bloodletter versus the spleen blaster, they sound like two different types of weapons to me. But again, that could just be the names. All right. Let's click, and I think we're going to look at the Reforged Power Core. Yeah, it's the same thing as the engine that we had for the Reclaimer. Just switch out corrosive and, just switch out the survival numbers. It's the same thing. About a 20-hour build time, which is the same we've had. So nothing's really changed. I don't know why they have like the wire nuts attached to them, but
Well, it's Reaver Tech, and that stuff's always a little bit.
yeah, but unless it really, because don't they look like the wire nuts or whatever you call them
in the back of a stereo or something?
Yeah. So let's keep that in mind. All right, but this is vanilla. This is what we've seen and what we would expected. The next one gets interesting. All right, we have the Bloodletter Scattergun. All right, where do we start? It's a scattergun that does corrosive damage. Corrosive damage is not really boosted by any crews. Just to get that out of the way. It is a dumbfire weapon with a projectile speed of 400, has a range of 89, which is not bad at all. It's not great, not horrible, unless we have some sort of debuff on the hull. It does 96 damage, which is interesting, and we're going to get into that. Has a reload time of 6, so just without any specials at all, just sculling it, you get to 1.5. There's a multi-shot of 4, and multi-shot is interesting. We'll get more into that. Submerged damage is half of it's half of surface damage, and now the fun starts. All right. Maybe we'll start explaining the definitions of the terms prior to going through these stats. Stacks, everybody has seen. This is the same thing that we're seeing with the Reclaimer in regards to the number of stacks you get until you create a shockwave in that instance with the Reclaimer. With the Ravager, the stacks are increasing damage over time damage. The damage over time is not increased by corrosive or any other damage-specific special, or building damage or critical hits. The way damage over time, the way it's displayed in the stat block versus how much damage it does can easily be confusing. You see damage over time, that is every time a projectile hits the target or splashes onto the target, one of the two, every time that happens, it's going to generate 1,200 damage that is spread over 8 seconds. So this is 150 damage per second on this. And they last for 8 seconds. So it's spreading that 1,200 over 8 seconds, and that stack is lasting for 8 seconds. So it's like the corrosive chemical on there that is hitting the hull, doing damage for 8 seconds, and then it's dripping off and washed away by the water.
Yeah, its potency is gone.
Yes, it has just gone away at that point. And then there's damage over time, max damage, which is sort of the max stacked that we would get a shockwave for a launcher. But in this instance, we've achieved the maximum amount of damage over time that you're going to get. And as opposed to being spread out over the time, this is actually damage per second when it's achieved. In the instance of this weapon, it takes 1,800 stacks to achieve the maximum. which may sound like a big number, but we're going to get into it. It's not a big number. It's not really a big number at all. The DOT duration, yeah, I already explained that. And the thing that's not in this blueprint that probably should be in the blueprint is that damage over time that lasts for 8 seconds. It can historically, we've seen it incur that damage in 0.2 second intervals and 4 second intervals, which could be important because generally the way these weapons work is you get the raw damage that hits immediately, and then you have to wait for this interval to occur before it starts doing the damage over time interval. It doesn't do it on first hit. The last time I saw these, which was a while ago.
Yeah, you kind of watch it just sort of tick it off, and that health bar starts to slide every second or thereabouts, depending on the interval, of course.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to. Originally, what I'm trying to do is explain the terms, because I DOT damage and DOT max damage are so different without really explaining how they're different. One is DOT damage divided by DOT duration. So, and then there is max damage, which is calculated damage per second. So that's one issue. And I also tease the fact that the 1,800 stacks is not that difficult to achieve. So one more click.
By the way, thank you, Paul, for getting us that sample on the full auto on 145. Not exactly an attractive value.
Yeah, that's not great. So I would recommend driving it. So on the left-hand side, what just popped up was 2 specials. Again, we're getting 4 specials for the ship, and I want to, I was sort of reticent to put these up. These are not recommendations. These are just reference points to see how we get to 1,800 stacks within 8 seconds. So one more click, Mike. Okay. We are going to assume across the fleet that we have 40 weapons, 40 of these bloodletter scatter guns. The base for these is a multi-shot of 4. If you take scatter system 2, you have a multi-shot of +3. So that takes that to 7. So we're going to take the 40 weapons. Every time they fire, they're going to fire 7 projectiles, giving us 280. And then we take a look at the launcher system, which has a 6 times supercharge. So that's going to have that 280 times 6. So every time, even with these old specials, which you're not supposed to use, you get to 1,680, which is going to do 2.16 million damage per second to the target. But again, do not use these specials. I'm just putting them out there as a way to explain what's going on. We'll get more into how to build and whatnot once we see the specials and the targets, because it's interesting, because the damage originally, if you just look at this blueprint by itself, the damage in 96 looks really small relative to the 1,200. It looks like nothing. But you got to realize that's divided across 8 seconds. And we don't know what the reload time is going to be finally, because the reload time for the bloodletter is going to be 1.5 just when it's scald, not including any sort of specials. So this could get well below 1 and be a driving force for damage. So the more multi-shot we get, the more the raw damage takes over, the more supercharge we get, the more the damage over time takes place. So this looks like a hit and run target, at least with this weapon. So again, I don't know. I guess I don't know how much I want to speculate, but range, speed, combat speed, turn speed might all seem like really good things to have on the ship. But again, we're sort of far away until we actually see what the specials are. We're a week away from having a good idea what's going on.
Right.
But the recommendation is get the scattergun, get the engine. But I just want everybody to be aware for next week what some of these terms mean when we discuss them, as far as like how to think about building this ship. Is there anything else?
I'm just going to add that, there's going to be a number of people that are going to wonder why when they don't watch the show or whatever, they're going to drive up to a target, they're going to fire at it, they're going to wonder why did the target not take all this damage right away? They're not going to understand the mechanic. There's another part to that to think about, because in assault you're going to have turrets, you're going to have ships. Okay, well, if you zip by an enemy ship, blast it once or twice as you're passing, and get away from it that it's not firing on you, all of a sudden that ship's health is going to drop while you're out of range. The tactical way to approach a target and save yourself some repair time. Probably the same thing with turrets. Drive by, spray the target and get out of there and let it eat it down.
Mm-hmm.
Also means that autoing is probably going to be pretty ugly in these, because they'll drive up and sit there and blast and blast and blast.
Yeah, and that was the tricky part. So the other thing, if our specials come out with like I think our current radioactive damage, at least on my build, is like 2,236% or something like that, and then you multiply the building damage, which is somewhere close to 2,000 as well. It's like the numbers are through the roof.
Right.
And so that's the other thing to be considerate of once we see these specials. And I wasn't going to try and table the whole thing out without knowing the specials, because it could be quite misleading. But the scattergun system 2 does look like something, the fusion, whatever, the one of the specials that we're going to get in the FM. I expect that to be Scatter System 3, because this looks pretty tempting for this weapon across the board. Something like this, or the next escalation of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
does it also look like we're going to have to contend with subs again?
I don't know. Sometimes they throw those things in there, and I don't know why.
Kind of just flipped a little switch.
It could be future proofing too.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Or past proofing. I mean, I don't know, with past assault TLCs. I don't know.
Yeah. That damage type there. Just
oops. Does the effects wear off if you drive off?
Yes.
The effects wear off after 8 seconds after you last fire. They're
Right.
going to dwindle down based on the number of salvo or the number of projectiles that have hit the target. So whether you're there or not doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, I guess unless you're increasing them or maintaining them, but it's not like an aura or an area of effect. It's the fact that the number of projectiles that have hit it, how it's the level of damage over time it's achieved, and that's sort of where you are. So your proximity doesn't matter. It only matters the fact that it's going to wear down. Every projectile is going to wear off after 8 seconds of contacting the target. So, all right. So
you can envision, though, driving past the turret, you blast, and we'll learn as we do the targets eventually. Yeah, with my build, I have to hit the target 4 times, and that's enough to let it, eat it down and kill it. But you'll be able to drive past, blast it however many times, and get out of range and let that turret die on its own while you're doing other things in the target.
Yeah, I hope it's nothing like the fuse lighter, though. That was awful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Please use the special effect and take extra damage for doing so.
yeah. That was that wasn't good. Okay, so no more questions on this subject. I thought we might have more questions, but I guess everybody's caught up. Okay, all right. And again, the DOT interval is not in the blueprints. I did make a request to the head of somebody at Kicksai, and I did get a thumbs up that it should be included. I don't know if that means it's going to be included, so we will see. Because this could impact your hit and run capabilities.
Right.
Like whether you want to, if you're going to start to see this damage over time after 0.2 seconds, or do you have to wait 4 seconds, or is it going to be 1 second, which is the most common interval? We don't know. So we will have to see. So, okay. All right. Nobody's, was that the last slide? Let me double check. That might have been the last slide. Is there something I missed? No. We don't want to talk about priority targeting change again, do we?
I don't think we want to revisit that. No.
Okay. All righty.
I could hit the end button and we can go back to Christmas again if you want. Never mind.
Okay. I don't know. Does anybody want Mike or Pegleg to hit one of the targets? And if so, which one? Well, probably the 138, because you're at X1, so people can see the difference.
It depends if you want to laugh or if you want to see it.
Well, the 130. Oh, yeah. Well, you have
Either one.
Well, both. I think you got both of them down to pretty good times.
Yeah, I didn't do real good on the 145 earlier. It's like 6 minutes or something, but I did have it down on the map before. But I'm happy to do either one if somebody wants it.
Yeah, unless you want 2 Pegleg, or we'll have Mike do it.
Either way, it doesn't matter. Gonna have to do it anyway.
Give me a minute to get myself queued up. I can go out and do the 145. I don't have all X1 and
I'd have to shut down the slides and go to another screen.
Okay.
But
well, either one, whoever shows up first.
I'm waiting for it to load.
Okay. Some of these pictures for specials looks like somebody smashed a motherboard, picked up pieces, and took pics. Yeah, I guess I get that with the Reforged Power Core. But if you have those sort of, I call them, wire nuts. But yeah, if most people have much more elegant connectors in their computers, unless yours is diesel powered, Lego. Is there a possibility yours is diesel powered?
I'm ready on a 145 if you want it.
Okay. All right. I put you on full screen.
I think I'm on full screen. Okay.
Well, I put you up.
Well, I think I have my computer on full screen too, but I can't tell. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right.
All right. Your ships are all at X1. So, okay. I thought you're hitting the 140. Okay. Never mind. I thought you were hitting the 135. Well, you're also at X1 with these as well.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So I was just setting these off and then turn around and let them chase me. And
any changes to the final reclaimer build for the upcoming raid? I mean,
depends on where you're at, I guess. But
yeah, I realized in the first raid I was short a couple of armors, so I'm adding those on. I still have tokens to modify them later, but because I was running a tank with a high of 8 tank, and we'll see whether that's still worth it if your upgrades are high enough, because of the addition of the addition of all the survival that you've gotten, if it's really worth it to do that. Really depends how easy the targets are. If the targets are really easy, I might strip away. I might strip away my Guidance Scrambler 3 or Agility 4. I forget which one it is. Because it cost me some amount of damage. Um, but I don't know. It's sort of hard to tell as far as, but the reason I'm considering that again is because of the all the survival that you get out of the auras associated with the upgrades that I did not have at that point in time.
With mine, I had a few too many MDS3 on initially as a guest, so I've pared mine back so that I've got my 2 on my flag, and I think I've got 2 of the other ships have got 1 on them as kind of backup if needed, and then 2 ships that don't have any I've got maxed out for being a gunner role, doing as much damage as possible, type of a deal.
Yeah, I only have 2 of my fleet, and they're both on the flag, so I don't really see a reason for me to at this point, from what we've seen, to change that. But you never know. They could have many more UAV turrets that are simultaneously targeting you. So,
right.
I really don't think this is the best way to drive this target, but I just go at it.
It's better than when you did it with your eyes closed.
Yeah, because if I can't get it on the water, it's going to be in the base quickly anyway. So
yeah, because that's why I find this target sort of boring at this point. I go the other direction, but I go.
Yeah, I come around from the left and come underneath that.
Yeah,
I have to try that because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be on the water repair.
All right.
Let's see what happens.
I was doing Paul. I don't know what that means, but
might be 7 minutes.
Oh, Paul, try my second fleet on the 130. Okay. I'm put the link out there.
609.
If you want to join the show, 6 up.
That's
what it was. You doing, Mike?
That's about what it was the first time I drove it. That was sloppy driving.
It's all good.
You want to do the other one too?
I'm sitting outside at 138 right now.
No problem. I'm going to do one.
Okay. All right.
Take your pick.
You got to share screen?
I can. Give me just half a sec.
Okay. And I'll grab a beer, and the link is out there in case anyone wants to join the show. While I'm grabbing a beer, and I'll add you in. A little bit later. All right, KB. Hey, KB. KB.
I will be back in a minute too.
KB, are you talking?
Hello.
Okay, there you are. I thought an octopus got you.
No, I've been having a bit of lag problems. So
okay.
Jeff, are you seeing this okay, by the way?
Yeah, you're
okay.
Yeah, you're in full screen in the presentation to YouTube.
Okay, just making sure. This is a mix of U2's new 3s.
Okay. Again, I'm going to go grab a beer. I'll be right back. And you guys carry on in my absence.
Nothing terribly exciting about it. We've only been doing these for how long now? We've driven them 1 million times over. Gather everybody up. here and there I do try to do things to minimize how much damage I take from some heavy turrets, but there's only so much you can really do.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make a lot of difference in
Not a
these
ton.
targets.
You do this, they take the first shot at your flag, which isn't grouped, and then you move that over so that takes that one. So I mean, it's playing on the edges.
Yeah, I'm fully upgraded, so I don't even bother splitting them up, and I'm still only getting about 22 minutes, which is instant repair in base.
Not using a crew or anything, obviously here, just doing it straight up.
Just harking back to the reclaimers, I only had the 2 missile defences on the flag, and that seemed to work reasonably well.
Yeah, I've got tokens enough that I may take off those other 2 during the raid if it turns out that we really don't need them.
And I think I had 3-1 in the armors.
Yeah, three of the ballistic and 1 of the radioactive.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, you probably nearly could get away with going 4 of the ballistic, I reckon.
Yeah, I would think you probably could. I don't know that I'm going to change it. I mean, 3 and 1 is enough of a tilted ratio to keep me pretty happy usually.
Yeah, well, I'm happy enough with that. Like I was getting instant map repair for 2 out of the 3 targets. For some reason, the middle one I couldn't get instant repair on the map. What was it? The 6. The non-auto one.
I can't think which number that was.
Yeah, the easy one I could do map repair, and the 512 or 513, whatever that was, I could get instant map repair. But for some reason, the middle one just wouldn't.
Yeah, so 3228. So with a mixed U2, U3 fleet, 3228 is what I picked up. No crew. Yay.
And how many of the avalanche mortars do you have?
75% of them probably. The flag doesn't have any on it because there's no point. My U3 ones have them on it, and I've got, like on this guy here, I think maybe this one doesn't have them. These 3 do, something like that. So most, but not all.
So you've gotten every chance to redeem, or did you miss
I think
one?
I have it. I might have missed a few, or I just haven't bothered to install them all yet. That's entirely possible.
Okay.
It seemed like it was more worth it to do it if it.
Go ahead.
At U3, I felt like it was worth putting them on there. At U2 or U1, it didn't seem like it was going to make really that much of a difference to get too concerned about it.
Yeah, because I've gotten it. When I hit a couple, I have 4 at U3 and 1 at U2, and I've claimed every single one of them. Let's see if the game's limited blueprints, because the avalanche mortars do, at least in my mind, they're shaving off like a couple of seconds per.
Yeah, it's a bit like the golden doodles on the bloody Praetorians.
Yeah, because I have 25 on my fleet. And I'm down to right around 25 minutes.
I must have missed some because it said limited built. I've got 10 of them on the fleet, and I've got 8 available still to deploy.
Okay, that explains the differential that I was seeing. So yeah. Okay, that makes complete sense. So Mike, are you up? You're okay. Mike is X1, and I think you have 25 on your fleet, correct?
I'm pretty sure I got everything I can put on already on there.
Okay. So this might show some sort of.
Sorry, I took out the first part.
It's all good.
But looking repair wise, I'm close to instant dock repair on a number of the hulls, so it's not like it's a awful inconvenience that I'm not better.
No, I'm just saying for people that have them claimed, they're most likely the people that have them claimed also probably have a ton of build tokens for the Everest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that difficult to slap them on. I'm just saying, I'm encouraging people not to take up shipyard time.
Oh yeah, do it with tokens for sure.
Yeah, do it for tokens, because I'm bet. Oh, you're doing a different term than I do. Okay. It may make sense. I mean, especially because you're at X1, which ignores the ice fields.
Which that's nice. I mean, makes your driving a lot more pleasant.
Yeah.
It just quickens up the target a little bit, I think. I don't know that it reduces the damage a whole lot.
I have 24 limited on mine. I missed out reclaiming one somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I think 25 is the current max, but I could be wrong, at least as far as...
Yeah, I think that's right, because as I said, I think I'm one along the way.
Find out in a minute. I usually just click S once I start coming down here and just let it finish it. When you come down here. Moment of truth. 22, 23. That's about what I had the first time.
Okay.
22 minutes plus something.
Yeah, and for people that have them, I think that's probably an indication of the avalanche mortars. I mean, I don't know. If anybody else has any more information as far as the difference between X1 and having all the avalanche mortars equipped, I don't really know. I just have my experience and what I ask about.
I still got 2 ice falls on there. I don't think I have any more that I can put on, to be honest. Let's see.
Yeah, I got 22 minutes for my first run through without crew.
You usually my butt. That's pretty good.
So, KB, was there anything before you showed up that we screwed up? Or me?
No, not that I can recall.
Okay.
I can't build any more than I have.
The only thing I said in the comments was about the some in the previous sort of raids we had ships that both that had turrets on them as well, like back in the old Manticore sort of raid. I presume it's something similar.
Yeah, I remember those.
To this,
the floating bus like.
What we saw in the special event, right? The spring fling.
Yeah, sort of. Except they had something was doing damage over time to us, I think, from memory. I can't quite remember.
Okay.
But I know they had four turrets on the ships. The big ships.
Kat is asking, are we getting better auto results in the FM 163 than the 143? Yes. Especially
more points.
More points and the same damage is what I'm getting.
Yeah, I generally drive the 184 and auto a 163.
Yeah, the 143 is not worth. If you have Everest, yeah, if you have Praetorians, I think you're stuck with the 143s. Um, but if you have Everest, take the 163s and auto it. So I'm getting, you know, yeah, no change.
Yeah, 14 or 15 minutes, I think, off the top of my head, I was getting for my second fleet of going 163s.
Yeah, most of the time I was able to auto 2 of them and then repair them in the dock. Is what I was getting.
Oh, well, seeing as though I was driving the 184s, I'd repair them both at the same time, so it just seemed easier than mucking around.
Yeah. So the 163 damage time benefit is definitely the way to go with Everest. It's I'm afraid it's going to change soon to some situation where people aren't going to be happy. I mean, I have no prior knowledge of this, but that's normally the way the FM change occurs. No, I have not seen any change. So, while Mike is hitting this, is there anything else we should be discussing? KB peg leg, is there any?
No, I don't have anything more.
Okay.
No, there's nothing more at this point in time, I don't think.
Oh,
Unless you wanted to revisit that middle ground on prize stuff, we didn't go back to that.
Oh, okay. I guess we did miss that. I think we'll probably talk about this more on Friday, but I'll bring it up now as far as like my thoughts on it. Talked to Derpy. Derpy's got a different opinion. At least he did at that point in time. So what happened with the free prizes? Everybody should be grateful. Everybody got something. Some people got more than others, and that upsets people at times. But if you're in a situation where you have not spent any gold or bought any gold or whatever happens as far as the differences in prizes, but if you already have a X1 or U3/X1 fleet and you get delivered a fleet with half the armor and at U0, and you get this, it's not really of any benefit to you.
It's a slap in the face, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of is. I mean, relative, because, as we discussed earlier, some people didn't have any of these. If somebody didn't do squat, they're getting the same prize as you getting to some combination of U3 and X1.
Exactly, and it's cost us real money to get it.
Yeah,
so
and
any advantage we got from winning is dissipated when everyone gets free fleets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think for a change, it's fair that they have sort of looked after the people that actually went out and spent some money on the upgrades.
Well, I'm trying to introduce a middle ground. Mike, can you go back to the slides?
Yeah, it's going to take me a second.
Okay.
I was actually calling up an alt that I haven't used in a long time to see what it gave, if anything, but no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because my idea is that, as opposed to let's go through an example of somebody that has not spent a single coin, and they have gotten all their ships up to U3, or they've gotten all their ships up to U2 and a couple at U1, as opposed to delivering them this fleet of U0 ships that have half the armor they're supposed to. Why don't we bump them up? Why don't we bump them up a step? Why don't we if they're at U2, take them to U3? If they're at U3, take them to X1, so they don't feel sort of cheated out of the whole thing. Does that make sense? It's not the same as other people got, because we see that we have, people got this flag, full fleet, but it's at U0, fully ranked, half armor. It's great for a lot of people, but if you're somebody that's sort of grinded away, you do feel upset, if that makes sense. That you're getting pretty much nothing besides something to melt down. Crypto, is that are you set up correctly? Okay. Crypto, try to you're providing quite a bit of feedback. So did you see we get I don't know. Does that make sense to you, KB?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, so somebody that's grinded away to get to U2, and then this comes out, getting the U0 reclaimers is right?
Not a lot of value there.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I suppose it gives.
But if you bump them up to U3,
benefit. Well, they can still get some benefit out of the fleet in the raid, so to speak. You could auto something with the free fleet, and
you only have one dock. You only have one dock for repair time, though, right?
Oh yeah, but obviously, if you're driving and autoing, the chances are you're going to finish at different times, aren't you?
Well, I'm just thinking that you're going to take a lot more damage on that.
Oh yeah, but you would normally just run the second one until it dies, I guess. But it still gives you an ability to get some extra points.
Yeah, but
it's not a complete waste of time. Put it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, would you find it unfair if they got all the way up to U3 with all their ships, and now they get to X1, while you get people that have paid for it? One more click.
Okay, hold on, because I was going to tell you something here, but
I'm just looking for commensurate value. Okay, one more click.
One more?
Yep, one more.
Okay.
So this is what you get if you spend anything in order to bought anything associated with it. So you get 4 days of Ravager build tokens, 4 days of Exterminator build tokens, 2 times of generic build tokens. So we've got 10 days so far of very useful build tokens. It's not like we're Seawolf build tokens. These are, the Ravager hasn't even come out. The Exterminator is still in Pillage. Not everybody has 5. And then the generic ones everybody wants. And then one more click.
Gotta go back. Multitasking here a little bit because I'm looking at something. Okay.
All right. And then I'm pretty sure this is 4 times Ravager upgrade tokens.
Yeah, there's 4 Ravager upgrade tokens.
Yeah. Even though it says
plus
bill.
The 200 kits. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just looking for, if it's a gift, it's sort of like, some of these people have got a lump of coal, But relatively, and and I do understand as far as your point in it, but the point you're making. But at the end of the day, it's like the people that really grinded to get to that point, going from like U2 to U3, U3 to X1, seems to make much more sense than to give them a whole fleet of U0 ships that are half armored, right?
Oh yeah, I can see your argument.
Yeah. So, whatever. I'm just throwing that out there as far as we'll probably have a different conversation on Friday with Derpy. I'm sure he's calmed down. He wasn't terribly happy for a little bit on Discord.
What? That getting the free fleet?
Well, all he got was the free fleet. He didn't get the last two, but he already had X1. He was already at X1.
What, for everything?
I don't know if he's quite there yet. I think he's almost there.
What?
I don't think he's got every ship already at X1. He will by raid time.
Yeah, but he will by raid time. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bump him up to X1, or whoever. Bump him up to X1 would make the most sense. Can
I offer an alternative solution? Is instead of the players that are getting the full 4 days, this whatever, for the ones that are partway there, you give them, instead of 4 days, you give them 2 on the new haul. And so you're not influencing the current game economy for the event coming up. Just like these new reclaimer, or not reclaimer, the name of the new ship, whatever it's on the tip of my tongue is escaping me. You know what I mean?
Well, what they could have done is given the fully upgraded fleet.
But 2 fleets, you need 2 fleets?
And I think giving people the fully upgraded
If you got the fully upgraded fleet, well, that's just the same as giving the extra tokens, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've, swings and roundabouts if they did it that way. If
I have an old alt account that I haven't spent a dime on, according to the Facebook history, and I got 7 days of upgrade tokens for inside the base, and I clicked on that. It gave me 2 days of shipyard build tokens and 12 hours of fleet repair token, 1 hour fleet repair token, the 1 day industrial reclaimer build token. I'm just going through this now live, so
okay. So this is
this is just a base account.
It'd be better if you screen share this. I don't
know if I can. Well, maybe I can.
Okay,
but either that or anyway, I can call up my wife's account, which might be better. Because so it didn't. That's from there. It went to FM. So I don't think I got the free fleet. Let me see.
No, I don't think I got the free fleet in my
it's a really old
little account either.
It's a really old account.
I got the structure build token, and that seemed to be about it all, because I got an SOS just after I was clicked off that part of it.
All right.
Yeah, I did get the reclaimer fleet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're combining like a current player thing with like a strained player account.
The only thing I can do is my wife has an account, and that's hardly been used at all. I can check that one.
No, I think we can probably wind things up and come back on Friday with information that we've gathered over time. So thanks everybody for showing up, and we'll see you on Friday. Well, you know. And thanks for showing up, and talk to everybody later.
Hooroo.
Or
Whatever that noise was.